My microphone was muted. Good morning, everyone. It's not morning here, but it's morning somewhere. So, boom, bam, pow. Okay, that's it. So, I have to, of course, do my little housekeeping stuff. 2 seconds. What I need you to do is go ahead and like, share, and follow. You see at the bottom of the screen, question time. Also, you can check it out on uh, YouTube, where I kind of would prefer you watch it, but whatever, just join in. And I prefer YouTube because when you comment on YouTube, your name automatically shows up, so we know who's talking, who's saying what, and why whomever is saying what they're saying. Well, we don't know why you're saying it, but you can elaborate, and we know that it's you. Okay. Okay. Let what? First of all, first of all, I don't know what this name means. Why are we coming up with names? Why can't we just? I don't know who started this. Who started this with this
I
name
think I
thing?
I think I did. Pro-life. Nope, the other one. I am pro-life. I don't believe that you should kill people.
Oh, the other one. I got you. The only thing that showed up on my thing was pro life. I'm like, we're not even talking about abortion right now. But then I saw the rest of it. I was like, boom, bam, pow. Okay. Okay. So you know where this stems from then. Did I tell you what it stems from? Or do you just know? First of all, you're lighting.
Thank you,
I'm
ma'am.
proud of you today.
Thank you, ma'am. I tried my hardest.
I'm sure. I'm
Oh,
sure.
I'm gonna go share. So if you lose me, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Just don't stay lost. But the Lord will find you. Huh. Come on. Um, I have to do my due diligence also, so that works. And for all the rest of you, please share this to your page. I'm trying to grow the audience and the question time as a whole. And I feel like I am the blockbuster of this. Like, I sort of pioneered question time or questions being asked, but I did not adjust to the changing of time. And I'm behind the curve. A tear drops my eye. It's invisible, but it does drop. It's actually a stream that's flowing. But whatever, we're here now
We're here.
and we're gonna get there. So whatevs. So this whole thing, and oh, and if people pop on, Mr. Pro, you're gonna have to explain what we talking about because I
Sure.
ain't doing it.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna show you what stemmed this whole question time live thing. So that ugly man, that displeasant, displeasing piece of trash, has proposed that instead of a unanimous jury, now only 8 people have to agree to the death penalty. But it does say that the judge is the ultimate decider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is the ultimate decider if he's going to get the death penalty or if he's going to do life in prison. So when you read this, I'm going to leave it up for a little while longer. When you read this, when you heard about it, what was the first thing that came to mind? I know, but what was the first thing that came to mind?
I think that our governor is hell bent on turning Florida into the wild, wild west.
Your governor, but keep going.
I think that he when I first read this, I said to myself, and not to take up too much time, but this is another example of sweeping legislation that has come out recently that has made me afraid as a black person, has made me afraid as a human, period. You couple this with the fact that they also have signed a bill that will allow people to carry openly in this state and that will allow people to conceal without a license. It seems to me that he's making it easier to get the death penalty and trying to rush as many people as he can to the death chamber. And unfortunately, that number is probably going to be disproportionate and not in favor of black men.
So, agreed. When they do their research or the stats, they're going to realize that more black people have been sent to death row than white
Mhm.
people. I don't care what you say. I don't care what kind of attitude you want to get with me. I don't care how pissed off you want to be. It's a
Oh,
fact. that they're going to put more black people on death row than they are white people.
1,000.
You have to wait for those stats. We know what's going to happen.
1,000%.
So live your life. You ain't got to watch this. You can move along.
Mm-hmm.
And but what when you bring up the gun thing, I was renting a car in Georgia, and there was a black guy at the booth. As you leave, you have to show them that you're allowed to get the car. And he was like, "Man, I don't know how I feel about this open carry thing in Georgia." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Man, this is just a reason for cops to kill black people." I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Oh, I felt like my life was in danger. Oh, he had a gun. Oh, da 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 da." As opposed to, do you have your permit, or do you have permission to carry? They're gonna say, "Oh, well, he was a threat," and that's how I feel they're gonna do it in Florida. Like, it's a reason that I shot him. Sure, he doesn't have any warrants. He's never been in trouble. He has a PhD in electrical or mechanical engineering, whatever the case may be. Nah, he had a gun.
He had a gun, and he raised his voice at me.
He said, "Excuse me," and I felt threatened.
Right. He literally asked me why he was being pulled over.
Mm.
He became combative.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I
He
told him to
became
get me his driver's license and registration, and he said, "Sure, let me grab it." But when he turned away, I saw him roll his eyes.
right. And the scary part about that is it, it it's almost like what they're calling freedom for one group of people is a trap for another set.
I
because
mean,
because before a cop could pull me over and I have a concealed permit and I'm carrying, and he could shoot me before he knew that.
mm-hmm.
And at least I could say, or my attorney or my family could say, you didn't know he was carrying when you shot him. But now, if it is open carry and I am carrying, it almost is like he's able to create the narrative before he shoots me.
Take it to the extreme. He doesn't know you have a gun, but he can shoot you anyway because it's an open carry state. I don't know if they had a gun or not.
Right. Or that. Absolutely. Now everyone, I have to assume,
Has a gun.
has a gun, which puts us in the Wild Wild West for sure. I will say this: the also recently, the in our legislature here in Florida, they signed a law saying that rape, molestation, sex offenders qualify for the death penalty.
Uh
It's
huh.
going to be challenged. It's already suits have already been filed. The Florida Supreme Court and maybe even the National Supreme Court will weigh in. But I think that that's interesting when societies and states all around are backing away. Amen. I don't know who said that, but they're right about it. Uh,
Gary.
yeah.
He's
The
very right about it. Come
right.
on, pop
The
on here.
Yeah. Literally, what we're finding is um, the I had a teacher told me in the seventh grade, and I didn't believe it. She said the next civil war will not be fought over north, south, east, or west, and it won't be fought with armies. She said
Mm-hmm.
America's gonna have a civil war, and politics is gonna get so polarized and nasty that neighbors are gonna be shooting each other in the streets. Have you ever seen the movie
Okay.
Hotel Rwanda?
Yes, I've seen Hotel Rwanda.
Just like they said, the Tutsis or the Hutus, I can't remember which was the opposing side, kill them. Literally, that's where we are in America. And in Florida, they're giving psychos guns and telling them, you spend time someone skipped you in 7-Eleven, an argument would ensue. But
Right.
when it happens and I have a gun on my hip that's visible, and you have a gun on your hip that's visible, how can I not feel that you could kill me or feel threatened by that and try to shoot you first? You wrap all of that up in this silly stand your ground law. It's time to own a funeral home because it is getting ready to
Oh, come on.
it's getting ready to get stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
This talks about, I believe, nuclear weapons or nuclear.
A plant.
Um, I think it's a laboratory, which is basically a plant. Um, yeah, yeah, nuclear. Or that's what I feel like when the Bible says, I think is what the bears will capture the eagle or something to that effect.
Oh, look at you with Bible
Um,
prophecy. Come on, Dan.
I
You
think that's what
come
it's
on.
it's
Ezekiel.
and if you think about it, who's the bear? Is it Russia that's the bear?
I
And then
think
you have America that's the eagle or something like
right.
that.
Russia's the bear. Don't poke the bear.
Right, because he finna snatch you out the ground, out the air. Anyway, so I think first of all, if there's anybody that I wouldn't mind kicking the bucket, I would say I'm not gonna say. Okay,
Uh-huh.
not gonna do that. But my aunt said Andrew, what is it? Was that his name? Andrew
Uh-huh.
Gilliam really messed us up.
Yeah, right.
Like he messed us up.
Did you see he was found not guilty last week?
For what? For what?
Uh, I said it was crazy to me that people weren't following this. I never saw it on CNN until after the case. Andrew Gillum was arrested last year and was charged with lying to the FBI, money laundering, and wire fraud. He had a full 3-week trial in the month of April and May. It went to a jury. The jury found him not guilty of lying to the FBI, but they got hung on the other serious charges. So it was a mistrial. So he's free right now, but the federal government said they're going to retry him. And today, his attorneys released statements from the jurors in that trial that said he would have been exonerated on all charges except for 2 people who were biased. And they said that because they were biased, they weren't going to switch their minds. So literally, some Republican psychos or Trump supporters, DeSantis supporters, literally were trying to put this man in prison. But the majority of the group said this case is flimsy. Yeah, Andrew Gillum lost everything because he went from a little known mayor from Tallahassee and literally stole a primary. No one expected Andrew Gillum. He was in dead last to only lose to Ron DeSantis by 34,000 votes.
But yeah,
That's like nothing.
and plus, weren't there some votes in the closet somewhere that they
You
decided
can
not to
lose
count?
34, right? You can lose 34,000 votes. I mean, that's how close it was. 34,000 people decided who the governor of Florida would be. And so I think they went on a tangent to destroy him. And they've done a great job because I doubt that he will ever get that close to the governor's office again.
Well, I figure after he was caught in a room with a transgender, and then he was half dead on the floor, butt naked. I figured that was his signature of doom.
That was a
Like,
lot. But do you know why that was?
why? What was?
I
Why
hate
he
to,
was on the floor, butt naked,
I,
almost dead,
I, I,
overdoses.
I hate to bash black women here, so I'm not bashing. I'm just telling the truth. Black women will support their man and stand by their man in a lot of things. If he'd have been caught on the floor with 2 black women hookers, it would have been okay. But the fact that he was caught with a white man who he was doing drugs with, and there was a homosexual element, if you want to turn a black woman against a black man, bring a white person and then bring a man involved. Black women said no. We're yeah,
Yeah,
we'll support. If he'd have slapped his wife, who's a sister, he'd have got a little forgiveness. If he'd have cheated on her, he'd have got a little forgiveness. Sleeping with a white man? Oh no, this I almost said this nigga. This dude is done.
and you said it, man. Hey, something else that's crazy about DeSantis and Florida as a whole. So, have you heard about this whole thing where, in order to work in Florida, you have to have papers?
Mm-hmm.
So that creates a very and Hispanic community saying they can't work because they can't get papers. Did you know that 56, I think it's 56% of Hispanics voted for DeSantis?
Right. That's because Hispanics believe that that conservatives are their friends. And in
Mm-hmm.
Florida, it's deeply rooted in this misconception. I was in the fifth, sixth grade. You were probably in the seventh or eighth.
Calm
Uh,
down. Mm-hmm.
but we had a governor who was a very famous governor from Texas. He
Oh,
had to be the grandson of a president and the brother, or the son of a president and the brother of a president. His name was Jeb Bush.
Jeb, come
Jeb,
back, Jeb, come
Jeb,
back.
right. Jeb Bush was married to
Mexican woman.
a Mexican woman, Columba
Mm-hmm.
Bush, and he has a son called J.P. Bush, Jeb Prescott Bush, who looks just like a Mexican. The hair, the skin tone, he looks like a Hispanic. But Hispanics believe Jeb Bush used his wife's power to trick Hispanics. That's how George Bush won 2 times in a row. They literally thought, and literally, white people in America treat Hispanics better than they treat black people. So black, white, same thing with
I don't
rap.
understand this one. I don't know what we're talking about here. Please explain.
Yeah. So Hispanic people think that white folks allow them to be equals, and they treat us bad. They
They
us bad. And I had to tell
right.
one time, I said, man, look, my people built your opportunity. When my people were marching to go to school, Mexicans weren't, you don't see Mexicans in those pictures. They were cleaning the schools. You know what I mean? They were that literally
If
we
they were even here that
here
much.
we paved the way. They got over here. Think about it like this, and I'm done. Why is it that a Cuban, all they have to do is touch American soil and they don't have to be worried about being deported? But a
But a
Haitian,
Haitian, come on now with the come on. They're both living in communities where it is terrible. It is detrimental.
why is
You're you know why that is? Because America controls the leader of Haiti, and that's when Haiti went down. Whenever America touches something, and I calm down, wouldn't want to be in any other country. Maybe Ghana, maybe Tanzania, maybe some African countries. But when America touches something,
But you know why they need the Hispanics as well? They need the Hispanics because we are becoming the majority, so they need another race to bring
to
along.
tack on to, they have the Asians
Yeah,
who
yeah,
who
they,
who put white on their things when they fill out the census.
absolutely. They are the ones that do that, and then you get a guy like Trump who literally started his initial campaign in 2014 or 15
Hmm.
with
With
"I'm gonna build a wall." uh,
why
Mexicans are rapists
and
and
murderers,
murderers, and literally he became the not only the nominee but the freaking president of the United States of America.
which he shouldn't have because he didn't have the popular vote. It was electoral college, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah,
What we are going to talk about is how then, we'll go back to Florida, how then can a group of people vote for a man, DeSantis, that mirrors his whole image off of another man that said you're murderers and you're rapists. And let's be clear, when he was talking about Mexicans, he wasn't just talking about Mexicans. He was talking about people that are from Brazil, people from Belize, people from
oh
Argentina, Venezuela, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto
yeah,
Rico. And keeping
man,
in mind, a man didn't even know he was a president of Puerto Rico.
right, right. He was definitely talking about Hispanics and Latino people. Period. One
So it's
thousand.
like y'all down are upset that DeSantis has decided you need papers, but you put him in office knowing full well that he doesn't accept you, knowing full well that he does not like you, knowing full well that he was going to do something to control you. I have can should I have sympathy for that?
No, not absolutely. But I think that goes back to the power of Florida is in a jacked up situation. I think we've been barreling toward this super majority Republican Party for a while. Having a Republican run the Senate, run the House, run the governor's office. Our state only has 3 branches of government,
Mhm.
and there's been a Republican head of all 3 branches for more than 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. What is different though is not only is it a Republican governor, Republican Senate, Republican House, they have super majorities in the Senate and the House here in Florida. So there's no vetoes that the Democrats can rally for. There's no filibusters that we could do to stuff. If the only way a bill is not passed is if the governor vetoes it. Democrats are powerless in the legislature here in
So
Florida.
explain what a supermajority is.
So a supermajority is where a party has enough members in that particular party in the House or Senate to where they can override a challenge from the opposing side. So, for example, if the Democrats were to try to rally against a bill, because there's so many Republicans we would have to rely on a good bit of Republicans turning on their party and siding with the Democrats, which is just not probable. Possible, but not probable at all.
Right, because we've made it this gang mentality
Yep.
where it's the Rips versus the Dems, and
Yep.
nobody. I don't know what that was. I
What
don't
set
know what that
what
was.
set you claiming, fool?
Man, look, I'm
That's
right. Because out here, it's like if you say you're this, people, you might get shot in the streets of Florida.
hmm
If you say you're that, have you heard about the guy who shot the girl in the back of the head for playing hide and seek in his yard?
no. Recently
Yes, I
in
cannot.
Florida?
I don't know what state it was. I don't know. I cannot. Um, that just came up. Oh, and another thing, because I'm not gonna keep you long. I'm gonna try not to keep you too long tonight. But you know, when pastors say that, they have you there for another 3 hours.
I take offense to that.
What about this one?
Oh, let me see.
So this is a Texas law where they're mandating schools to teach kids battlefield trauma care.
Battlefield trauma care.
You know why?
Why?
For school shootings.
Isn't that stupid that we would rather do that than to come up with comprehensive gun legislation? Isn't that retarded?
That it is a backwards. Like so, you're going to make it so that kids know how to care. Seventh grade is it seventh graders? If I could 7 year. Okay, so from my understanding, it's also some elementary schools, but so that they can not only be traumatized that somebody has a gun at their school, not only be
hmm
traumatized that they hear gunshots, not only be traumatized that they see their classmate getting shot, but now you want me to administer care. You want me to stay calm enough to administer care.
The nation's going to hell. That's for sure.
Basically. And then what's going to happen is when I run because I can't stay calm enough to administer care, that child's parent is going to sue me
Oh yeah,
because I assisted in the murder of their child.
wrongful death.
Right.
Wrongful death. I think that and I want to say this to Black people: wake up. We are not losing in municipality elections. We're not losing with a governor or mayor. We're because those people really just guide an already moving ship.
Mm-hmm.
Where the
Mm-hmm.
Black man is systematically defeated every day. The Black man and Black woman is in the court system.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Mm-hmm.
person that appoint judges are voters. You vote in your circuit judges. A lot of people don't know that. Judges are elected. The federal judges are appointed. That's why we should still vote in federal elections because we want our president and those. But the average person is taken advantage of in criminal cases, domestic evictions, civil cases, traffic cases. All of those people you vote for. That's where they beat us at. Because Barack Obama, great president, couldn't save Black America. Policies and procedures, they don't save America. The person who interprets law, that's who saves America. Legislators write it. Law enforcement officers enforce it. Executives sign on it, but it's the judge who interprets it. That's the person that says, when you appeal to him on a stand your ground, says, this isn't a stand your ground case, let it go to a jury. That's the person that says, you could have paid your rent, the eviction stands. That's the person that says, you didn't pay your child support, you're a couple months behind, take his license, put out a warrant. That's where we're
Right.
losing systematically. We're losing in the courts.
And let me say, Barack was a good president.
Okay.
He could have did more for the people, for the Black people. But he was a good president compared to all these other ones. He was magnificent.
Right.
He was
1000%.
freaking brilliant. Let's
1000.
not get that twisted. Um, I agree. These local elections, I think last year was the last election or the election before that in Florida, they had this thing where the judge can interpret the law. It was like an amendment, can interpret the law as they see fit
1,000%.
based
That's a,
on their own interpretation.
their own.
The
Think,
freak?
think about
No.
a judge decides whether you get a bond or not.
No, I mean, not based on law, not based on previous case studies, not based on any of that. It's based on, yeah, I don't think I really like you much. Guilty.
That isn't that something?
Like, what do you mean? No, you need to base it on law. You can't just be like, I'm gonna give you, I know you took a candy bar from the store, but you deserve life. I think you deserve life for that. No, 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 no. And that's what Florida was trying to do. Thankfully, they voted that down. I wouldn't
He
be
wakes
surprised if they
up.
put it back on the ballot.
He
Hmm?
wakes up to find that his wife has been sleeping with a black bailiff from the courthouse, and every black man that comes in front of him that day gets 100 years for a traffic violation. Can you
Could
imagine?
you right?
Can you
I mean,
imagine?
I actually can't imagine because that's what the heck they're doing basically
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh, one thing.
But
I've had very limited interaction with the law, but I remember literally having a case in front of a judge and a bailiff saying to me, "Hey, just to let you know, a guy pissed him off early this morning. He's giving out long sentences." What? You mean to tell me you can sit there and decide on how you feel as a judge, and the law gives such latitude in sentencing? That's why the federal government has fair sentencing guidelines, which are great because
right,
they say if you do similar crimes in federal cases, you're going to get similar time. The state of Florida is the only place where you and I can both never have had a conviction or been arrested and do the exact same crime, and if it's punishable by 15 years, it's possible for you to stand in front of a judge and get a year of probation and me to get the max. It's the only place in the entire world that that's possible.
well, you do have the one lady that rammed her car into the Black Lives Matter protest, and she got parole, like 3 months in parole. I think she maybe she murdered someone or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. But your skin color also matters. Also gets you a
And,
lot of leeway.
and
Um,
that's a major issue. I think I read a while back that they were saying that as it pertains to death penalty cases, that they wanted to go because I think it's in France. Some country has it where the jurors never see the defendant.
oh, that would be wonderful.
So literally, all you get, and you don't get their name. All you get is defendant A, and literally with defendant A, you get nothing but facts of the case. You hear testimony, but you're not able to look and to see the defendant or the suspect because they don't want it to be biased. You don't know their race, you don't know their sex, you don't know their age, you don't know their skin color, or I guess that's race. But yeah, but those things. So you're not prejudiced or biased because of those things. 1,000%.
But that's
Because
similar to the grand jury.
right, similar to what a grand jury is, but it's throughout the whole trial. But absolutely,
I would live. That would be great.
Demarcus and Colt are definitely going to get different sentences,
Right.
different treatments, different things like that. And which brings me back to your initial thing. That's why I think the death penalty has to go. The reason the death penalty has to go is this is my major reason. How many times do you watch the news or read the newspaper and you see someone who's been in prison for decades is found to be not guilty, the case is overturned, and that person is exonerated and that person is allowed to go home? The,
Opponents on the bill noted Florida has the highest number of exonerations from death row in the nation at 30. Most of these exonerations were sent to death row by non unanimous jury votes.
now watch this. That's just death row. What about the ones that have life? My,
Right. I'm just
right,
saying,
yeah.
like,
My problem with death row is if you kill me at year 10 or 12, and I'm one of those guys that the new evidence doesn't come up to year 29 or 30, you can't give
can't
me my
bring
life.
me back.
out of the abundance of caution, I think it because one person dying innocent is too much. Yesterday, I read yesterday and I think that might have been in Florida. There's a man who his stepdaughter was 6. She never
Uh-huh.
she never accused him, but others accused him of
Because they
molestation.
from what they believe she said. It wasn't even what she said. It was I
Right.
believe she said that it was Bob.
And the man did 29 years in prison. The last 20, the victim has been rallying for him
To,
to come
to,
home and saying he did not. It took 20 years of the victim saying he didn't
it
touch
wasn't him.
it, and he still took 20 years to come home. Think about that. What if that man was sentenced under DeSantis's new law that says sex offenders can get the death penalty, and he's dead 10 years ago?
Okay, well, I'm gonna say people that molest kids. I'm not for the death penalty. I'm not. I don't. I think if we're gonna do eye for an eye, do it in everything. Like
Okay.
if you kill somebody, we get to kill you. If you stole somebody, call somebody, get your car. Like if we're gonna do eye for an eye, let's do it all around. Um, but this whole thing with the child molesters, I say don't kill them, but make them eunuchs.
Okay. Not cruel and unusual punishment.
It's not. They get a surgery. They get anesthesia. They get
Oh,
other
okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Not just chop it off, or
Not
not just
okay. So you're not
cut
talking
off. Cut off her business.
chop. Gotcha. I thought you were talking about just the big chop.
No, I mean it can be a big chop, but like give them some anesthesia.
Yeah. So that's my major issue and my major reason for being opposed to the death penalty. It's just that the results aren't final, and because of that, you know, I just couldn't imagine someone being incarcerated for decades as an innocent man is tough enough. I could not imagine sitting in a death chamber and in my heart of hearts knowing that I'm
No,
innocent.
I did not. Even my heart of hearts, in my heart surface, I know I didn't do that junk.
Yeah. And so there aren't any. And then for people who are so pro-life, who are all about life and live, I don't see how they're so gung ho on killing people for political points of that. Governor DeSantis has executed more people in his short term than Charlie Crist did in his whole term.
Oh, Charlie, come back. I need you. I need you, Charlie.
You know,
Look,
so it
DeSantis is the Satanist. I call him the Satanist.
yeah, I'm glad that his presidential campaign. Think about this.
I don't want to.
Historically, you can't run for president and still be governor of Florida. You have to. They literally last week,
You heard what this dude is doing?
this legislator changed a decade old precedent to allow himself to run for the president
And
and
if
keep his
he
job and get paid for being the governor. And if he loses, still can't complete his. That's unbelievable.
he can come back.
And they passed it, and because they have a supermajority, it is what it is. They're shielding his travel records. They're passing laws to shield his travel record so that doesn't come fodder in this election. He's taking on Disney and stripping them of 40 years worth of tax benefits for being the number one employer in the state. And he's personally battling them because they made a statement against Ron DeSantis has become a king in Florida.
He's a tyrant.
Yeah, they've given him more latitude than they've given any governor ever. And it's only because, like you said, he's pro, and this is his first term.
Second.
No, Ron DeSantis, let me see. I'm not sure. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
this is his second. He ran against
he ran against
Andrew
Gilliam,
on the first one.
and he ran against Gilliam and won. Then he ran against Chris and won. You're absolutely
Right.
right. He just started his second term, his last term. Thank God for that.
He can only have 2 terms.
Their term limit. Well, I don't know.
Let me Google because
Yeah,
that almost made me happy.
no, they are term limited in Florida to 2 terms. But if Ron DeSantis asks for a third term, this legislator would give him one. unless someone else wants to be governor. They have a 2-term limit, but he can definitely, if they change the law, he can run as much as he wants to.
More than 6 years and two consecutive terms. Okay, okay. And he cannot be elected to a succeeding term. First of all, why doesn't it say she? But anywho, or they, whatever. We'll say that later. I hope. Somebody don't, please don't tell them this. But I don't think that will pass because I also think, didn't Trump try to do something like that where you can get a third term as a president?
Yeah, he wants it. I don't think the country will ever go for that. I think that even Trump would have a hard time selling that, and they don't have a supermajority to accomplish something like that. But you never know what they'll have in 10 years.
This
People
is
die, ideas live on.
Oh, let me read what this. Somebody text me this regarding, do politicians have too much power? Politicians abuse power because people don't make them do their bidding the way the system is supposed to work. The public is lazy in the sense of they vote people in who are supposed to work in their best interest. Also, on a federal level, the Congress, Senate, and House has given more and more power to the executive board so they can go under the radar and blame the president and stay in office.
Uh-huh.
I'm not mad at that.
It's gonna take protests. I'm dealing with a situation in my neighborhood of predatory lending and leasing, by a particular Caucasian gentleman who owns a few homes.
Uh huh.
I'm organizing this weekend probably a pop-up protest, and I'm going to march in front of his house with 30 to 100 people every day so that no one rents it. My goal is to keep people from renting his home until he comes down on his prices.
So, isn't there a law in Florida where you can hit protesters with your car?
So there is a law in Florida that DeSantis signed after the George Floyd protest
Of course.
to diminish the power of protest. They can't stop it because it is a constitutional right, but you just have to go through more hoops in order to do it. And I'm willing to jump.
Well, let me know.
Yeah,
You are trash. You are trash.
absolutely.
I
One,
think I read the post that the thing that you posted. All I can do is laugh.
yeah,
Like, first, so you want, so instead of being smart about it and saying first and last month's rent and a security deposit, this joker says first month and 2 months worth of security deposit. Like what?
$7,050
And you know why that is?
to move in.
He can keep, because he can keep your security deposit based off of things he finds.
Right.
But he can also keep your last month's rent.
Easy, easy.
And what?
It was absurd when I said to myself, even if someone can afford the 2,600 a month, think about that. They want you to make 2.5 times to 3 times the much. Let's just say, for conversation, the 2,600 times 2.5, $6,505.
That's a
Anyone
doctor's
makes that
salary.
amount a month.
That's a doctor.
Anyone makes that a month. Why would that person be renting a house on Merritt Street? That
No, no diss to the neighborhood. I love my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I
right.
love, I love it. It's gotten, it's great. It's fine. But I'm
That makes no sense. What? Who has $8,000 for move-in on a? But watch this. In Florida, the legislator last week signed a bill that takes the power from local municipalities to regulate tenant landlord disputes.
what do you mean?
So the local municipalities used to, like, remember when Orange County put a eviction moratorium in place during COVID, that they
Hmm.
didn't allow evictions in the county. So even if a homeowner had someone who wasn't paying rent because of the pandemic and a lot of people weren't working, you could not evict them during the pandemic.
Right.
The legislator took that and fueled a law to where now your local municipality can't do something like that. The state regulates what a landlord can do to a tenant, and your local municipality has to follow it. That sheriff officer, no matter what the county mayor says or the county commission says, Governor DeSantis now is controlling landlord tenant ordinances in local cities. Which, if Orlando said they came out with a law that says in Orlando you can't have rent more than $2,000 in this community because it's a low income community, they can't do that anymore. Now the state regulates what's appropriate for landlords and tenants in Tallahassee. It is insane how much power this governor has.
So the answer to the question is yes, politicians have too much
Too
power.
much power. And that's a Republican talking point. I just want to say for the record, Republicans, conservatives are against big government. The government should know this. The government can't take my guns. The government shouldn't surveil everything. The government. Deregulation, deregulation. Get rid of the government. That's a Republican talking point. But more and more lately, it's become a Democrat talking point because Trump, DeSantis, they want to be kings, tyrants,
Oh
dictators.
my gosh. Yes, they do.
And literally, it is insane how much power the governor of Florida. It's scary how much power people are moving out of Florida.
Right.
The people who are coming here are wackos. People are trying to leave Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. They look Cuba. It all looks a lot more attractive nowadays than it did in years gone by.
Yeah. And my thing is when whomever replaces him, excuse me, whenever whoever replaces him, let's say it's a Democrat governor, right? Democratic?
Yeah,
A governor that's
Democrat,
a Democrat. You know what I'm saying?
right?
Will he overturn all of this? Will he be able to overturn all of this? Will he be
Doesn't
like,
have a
boy, you
majority.
tripping?
Yeah.
And like, what's it gonna take? Like, it's, or even if a Republican gets in there, he's like, okay, look, I admit, dude, he was a little much, so I'm gonna get rid of a few things. Like, what does it look like if he does get rid of some of the things? Like, he gets rid of the municipality control type of thing, and he gets rid of open carry, which is
I,
really stupid.
I think that, and this is so tough, and I feel the same way about any type of leadership position, church leadership position. When something actually passes and becomes law, although some things change when you get a new leader, you can't strip everything and go back to the drawing board. Just because, like Obamacare, the Republicans, they tried to undo everything and dismantle everything that broke. And they did dismantle quite a bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But they lost. The reason they didn't win the House and the Senate, they became, it does not, people don't like infighting. And people are sheeple. And a lot of citizens, even though those laws matter, they're okay with it because they really don't have a knowledge of how it works. So it's expensive to go through and try to unpack everything that the previous leader packed up. So I don't know if the open carry thing, if we got a Democratic governor, if it goes away, maybe there's some safeguards put in place. But I don't know if things like that ever really go away. They're I mean, shucks. Look at abortion. Republicans hated abortion ever since it became a law. It still hasn't gone away though. With that Republican president, it's hard to get it to go away. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Once it becomes actual law, it's just so that's what's scary. And again, I say systematically, that's why it matters who's our court system, because judges are for life. Once you get to the Florida Supreme Court and the National Supreme Court and the federal bench, the federal judges are appointed for life. There's no firing them.
Right. I
You know
remember
what I
was it the last election for the judges? I just voted no for everybody. Let's just
mean?
start the
Retain
poll
them.
over. Huh?
to retain them.
Yes, I was like, let's just start the freak over because
Send
this is
everybody,
just say again.
send everybody to the house.
Right, let's start over. Let's just because no, because we just need people get too comfortable, and I think there should be terms for everything.
Every
Supreme Court, all of it. There should be terms
your church, everything.
like senators, everything. You should because people
Hello.
get comfortable, and then people start doing whatever the freak they want to do, like Bitch McConnell and whatever land Looney Looney
Lindsey,
Looney Graham, whatever his name is. You get comfortable, you start doing whatever the heck you want to do, and then it goes where it is now.
you have literally a impasse of personalities, and not much is getting done, but they're getting paid.
Oh, they're getting paid for life. They get paid for life.
They're definitely getting paid. It's a waste. Hopefully, though, and I hate this is going to sound real morbid. Hopefully, as politicians die, fresh meat comes. You know what I mean? Because the nature self corrects every now and then. Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell can't live forever. Joe Biden can't live forever. Joe Biden's running for
Ron
president.
DeSantis can't live forever.
I seen a video that Rick Scott put out today, making a point that Joe Biden is too old. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the most effective campaign attacks against Joe Biden. Because after watching that video, I said to myself, I want another option.
First of all, he's not too old. His brain is too far gone.
Yeah, as a Democrat, I'm thinking to myself, I need another option because
I need another option too.
I'm not convinced. And although I love Kamala Harris, I was a huge
No, I don't.
fan of hers when she was a senator in California. Um, she has not performed well enough for me to be confident that she can succeed to the presidency after Joe Biden. We need some other options on the
Right,
Democrat.
like what is she doing? Like I think Joe was in his best mind when he was with Obama.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's like what is Kamala doing? And I would not be able to listen to her. Guess what, guys? We're going to talk to Russia today, guys, and it's just gonna be great. I would lose my rabbit mind.
Another thing about her that's interesting, if you watched her, if you followed her at all during her Senate years, she's very combative and she's like female Eric Mays, like in meetings.
That kind of motivates me to like her a little bit. I like it.
She's like female, but the first 3 years of her presidency, she was her office was full of resignations and rumors that she was a dragon, that she was mean, bitter, that she was um, uh, difficult to work with. And I know those are some um,
Labels they put on black women. Go ahead.
black women. Anyway, that they say those things about black women, but I can believe him. You know what I mean? Because she lost black women. she,
Oh,
she
yeah.
lost black staff members that were saying the same thing. You know what I mean? And although those are stereotypes that are prevalent amongst black women, she seems like that. And I'll be honest with you, I have a problem with her white husband. I do. I have a problem with her white husband and the fact
You said it again.
that someone I can't remember who, her mom may be white or
She's native, I think.
somebody's white though. Let me look. Now I gotta look it up.
Right. I'm like, let me Google it. Cause okay. I just don't think I think he went with the lighter choice. I think had he gone with Stacey Abrams, I would be I'll be cool with him running another term because I believe Stacey would be able to step into the presidency fully aware, fully knowledgeable, fully brilliant. I
Stacey should
think
have.
I think that even if you were the previous president, you don't automatically get to be on the ballot. I don't think that should be a thing.
You don't think
Like
it comes right?
No, I don't think. Oh, okay. Just because you may not have done a good job as the president.
So you think
I,
every 4 years he's out of
it should be a
office?
it should be a whole, not that she get out of office, but it should be a whole nother election.
Hmm.
You can have, if you want to run for the presidency as a Democrat. Say again.
Well, primary. Well, he does have one challenger that I know of for sure. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of RFK, the Attorney General who was assassinated shortly after Martin Luther King, the president's Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy's son is running against him,
Oh,
but Bobby Kennedy's son does not have the support of the Kennedy family because of remarks he said about COVID being not real. And they think, some fringe stuff. He talks about aliens. So even though he's a Democrat and he's a Kennedy, which it's crazy because 10 years ago, that was like a shoe in the Democratic Party. You're a Kennedy? He doesn't have the support of his family, and his
he got
family
my support.
his family is saying because they have such a long history with the Biden family that it's disrespectful for him to run against an incumbent. So I don't think that his campaign goes far, but he is a Kennedy. He could 1,000% shock us. He 1,000% could rally a base. Bernie Sanders said he's not going to challenge him. He said he's not going to challenge him. I don't know. Hillary might. I think if Hillary challenges him,
I don't. I don't like her either.
but I know who would challenge him and would win. She's our secret weapon.
Who? Stace? Oh, bless the Lord, oh my. Hey,
If Michelle Obama
if
could become
Michelle Obama
a
runs
smart
for freaking
attorney,
president,
yeah, if she runs,
I
she
will.
she would be a breakout, and no one would catch her.
I'm on the campaign trail. I'm on the campaign trail, and I'm just her footrest.
You're knocking.
No, I'm a footrest, my guy. Look, you comfortable? Are you
Right,
are you comfortable?
right. I think that she could 1,000% flip this thing and real deal win.
She would win. Who would she have as her VP?
Barack can't serve because he served 2 terms. The VP has to be able to serve in the presidency and not be term limited. Uh,
Really?
yep, you can't even be vice president if you serve 2 terms. Um, who would her running mate be? I don't know if America's ready for a 2 woman ticket,
No.
uh, but if she were to run, who would her? There's some. I'll tell you who's smart. There's Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. There's
Love him.
there's Representative Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries, who's the current uh, minority leader in the House of Representatives, which means he's the number one
Oh,
ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives.
okay.
I think that um, either of those two, they're black men too, so I think that would be a problem. 2 blacks at the top of the ticket,
Exactly.
but I think that they are the future of the Democratic Party. Katie Porter, a white woman from California who's currently a representative running for Senate. She would be that's the lady who, I don't know if you've ever seen the viral video of the white lady who's talking to the CEO of Morgan Chase. And she goes over the monthly bills of a woman with a normal job who works at his company. And she literally talks about how much rent is the average for rent. And when she gets down to all of his bills, the woman who works for Morgan Chase has a $500 shortfall.
Hmm.
And she asked the CEO of Chase in a congressional hearing, how does she come up with $500? She can't work another job. She's a single mom. She can't do this, that, and another. And the CEO says, I don't know. And she looks at him and she says, you're the CEO of one of the largest financial institutions,
You don't
in,
know how to find money.
and you don't know how to find $500? If you don't know how to find it, what do you think about her?
Mm,
I'm going to send that video to you.
I know.
She,
That's
she's,
real.
she's a smart cookie. They
Is
don't
she
like,
the one that always goes off on people about she has like charts and always like graphs and
yep, always
this,
have
this,
starts.
this, this,
Yep,
this, this,
that's
this,
her.
this, this, this,
All, yeah,
talk.
Right. Always has charts and
Okay,
graphs.
she had like brown hair, mate. She have
Yeah.
like brown or dirty brown hair,
Yeah.
dirty
Yeah.
brown. Okay, yeah, I like her. I
Right.
like her.
She's running for Senate right now. She's coming out of the House of Representatives, which is crowded. There are over 400 people in the House of Representatives. There are only 52 in the Senate. You float to the top in the Senate. They see the House of Representatives as that's real America. You have some wackos in there. You can get enough votes, you can get into the House of Representatives, but everybody can't get to the Senate. But she's trying to make that leap from House of Representatives. She would be a great running mate for Michelle. Again, it's two women. I don't know. I don't know if any white men, and that maybe the Democrat Party is in trouble. Maybe that's why
I
Trump is
feel like
popular with white men. I can't think of any up and coming white man in the
who was
Democrat.
it's two senates in Georgia, Warnoff and also something. What about him?
Who?
It's Warnock,
Warnoff in Georgia.
Warnock, and who's the white guy with him?
Oh,
Remember,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
can't
yeah.
be
The
two black
Jewish
people
guy,
on the
the
ticket.
Jewish guy who got elected the same time he did. Warnoff, and I don't
It's the
know.
O word.
In
Whoever
Georgia.
he is,
Right, right.
him. He's an option. But my thing is, whoever she picks as her VP, because Michelle gonna take care of business.
Mm.
And Michelle is for the people. She's not for the black people. She's not for the Hispanic people. She's not for the women. She's for the people. And that's something I love about her.
I
Um,
agree.
now I want to know who this guy is. Let me look and see who the other senator is. What about Herschel Walker?
Oh, what a weirdo.
Oh Lord.
What a
Ossoff.
what?
I was right. Okay, John Ossoff.
Ossoff. I mean, Beto O'Rourke. Now that you say that, Beto O'Rourke out of Texas.
Beto O'Rourke. Who's that?
That's the guy who ran for president, but he also ran for Senate in Texas. Beto, he's married. Peter Buttigieg, who is currently the Department of Transportation Transportation or Homeland Transportation, I think, or Interior.
Is that the gay one?
That's,
Buttigieg?
yeah,
Like
that's it.
Buttigieg or something like that?
He could be a viable. He's white. He's male. He's gay. I mean, checks a lot of boxes.
Yep.
He could be a viable running mate for Michelle. Probably he would be the one.
He'll probably be the best option if we really, really want to win.
They want to win a black woman and a gay white man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the winning.
Look, if Michelle wins, I'll let go that politicians have too much power because I will need her
You want
to
her to
have
be the
all
queen.
the power.
You want to have a coronation. They keep
Right.
telling you. They keep saying it's called an inauguration. You keep saying no.
It's a coronation because we're officially having a queen of America. Keep her there, please.
the queen consort.
Let's establish a monarchy.
Right. She should be styled as Her
Right.
Majesty the Queen.
And I'm voting. I'm going to run for prime minister.
There it is.
That's it.
Right. And for those of you who think that this is weird and not American, this is actually where we come from. Read a history book. Muscle has
Muscle memory, baby.
muscle memory. We can get back there.
So we can. I feel like people who watch and like pay attention can legit say that politicians, especially the ones in Texas, the one in Florida,
And one
even
I ain't even talking about handicapped people. He got that much power in a wheelchair.
wait, what?
Greg Abbott's paralyzed. He doesn't walk.
No, I'm talking about the people who are talking about putting into law the whole train children to be soldiers thing.
Right, but I mean the governor of Texas.
I think so.
Yeah, he's paralyzed.
Well, not good for him that he's paralyzed, but good for him that he got it in. What I'm saying, that's because people are judgmental, people are judgy,
Oh, yeah.
and they'll find any reason not to, except for if you're a Republican, they'll be like any reason for to,
Right.
as long as it's not a Democrat.
Yep, 1000%.
And did you hear that what is it, San Francisco, San Diego, one of those counties or cities in California have decided to give reparations? You have to meet certain criteria.
I'm against reparations.
Well, that's our show for the day, people. And you're against. Okay, explain. Because I'm against a certain form of reparations.
I I think to I think one, it's going to cause great confusion in Black America because Black people fighting over their mama 2 bedroom house on an acre. I couldn't imagine them trying to trace people not necessarily with the same family but the same last name, all the Black shears who were slaves on this property, and them trying to divide it up. It just seems like a it seems like a hard thing to actually implement. Monies, am I getting my fair share? It may make people instant millionaire. I don't know. I'm worried about reparations.
Okay, but the thing about reparations is that, or how it sounds, it's supposed to go. If you are a descendant of, not the family, if you are a descendant of, you get a certain amount of
Of the
reparation.
slave master.
No, if you are a descendant of the slave,
Hmm.
so say you and I are descendants of Boo of Toby,
Right.
and
Oh, a direct descendant, not
not a direct
just.
descendant, just a descendant. If your
Okay.
lineage goes back to Toby, you, me, Bob, Jerome, all them, we get a certain amount of money. It's not that Toby got $1 million and now you have to divide it amongst all 8 million of his descendants. It's if all the 8 million descendants, you get a certain amount for reparations.
You don't think that's gonna make states go broke?
First of all, America is broke. One. And
Jalen broke.
two, that's why I'm against certain reparations. I think that we should be going to black people should be going to school for free. We should not have to pay taxes. Whatever taxes you did pay, you can get them back. If you pay
Oh,
for your education, you get that money back.
whoa.
The
Treat us
thing
like
it's not that it's compared to white people, it is not as many black people that have gone to college.
treat them like like they treat the Indians.
Yep, right. And Holocaust victims got reparations. Um, and if you want to do right, forget all of that. Forget all the taxes and all that jazz. Give us our 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
If you want to do that, give it, and because trust me, there will be no land left. We will have it all.
Right. In
But
the
if you
words
can't do that, I'm sorry.
in the words of Eric Mays, Mrs. Hurricane Roder. Yeah, I want
You're
my
the reason I'm a vote the way I'm a vote.
right.
Cause y'all racist.
Right. Yeah.
Like give us those things. You can keep the money, but give us the money that we gave you back because we had to build this joint and we gotta pay for this joint.
I think if you gave every Black person a home with equity in it, something that he could start a small business with, even you don't have to give me the 40 acres. Give me a home with no debt and equity in it. I can make it.
Or give me a home with no equity, but don't have me at a upside down.
Right, because literally, the people think that small business loans are where white people beat us. That is, but where the average white entrepreneur advances faster and quicker than a Black one is because they literally are born into or have easily accessible home equity. The
Right.
equity home home equity loans are the major source of startup capital for most small business in America. And because Black people don't own homes as much as white people do, that's where they're losing in that battle. But it's crazy, man.
And they're also losing, and I talk to my real estate clients about this. You're also losing because you don't understand how you can use your equity in your home to purchase another home, or how you can use your equity line of credit to buy land or whatever, or anything like that. Like you have to understand the value of the equity in your home.
Speaking of real estate, if you live in Florida or Georgia and you're looking for a realtor who is a shrewd negotiator who can definitely walk you through, I suggest that you contact Brandy Grant with Oliver Realty Group, uh,
Oliver Group Realty,
Oliver Group Realty.
the team.
the team and start that conversation.
I'm not a shrewd negotiator. I am just for my client.
Hello. Nuck if you buck is what she was raised on, folks.
But I'm not gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Right.
gonna I'm gonna be. But anyway, also Alabama now. But that's either here nor there. Thank
Sweet
you.
home.
I know.
You have to do a reel tomorrow with Sweet Home Alabama playing, announcing that you're a realtor in Alabama.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, to you, girl. I told you I'm a marketing genius. Do that.
Well, we were supposed to have a sit down conversation, but whatever.
Oh,
So, um, yes. Oh, that's all. That's all I have for today. Because those things that when they did that, 8 people out of 12 can put you on death
isn't
row.
that silly?
Like
It,
you know,
could you
there's
imagine
always
being
going
one
to
of the
be 8 white people on your jury.
could you imagine being one of the four and you couldn't turn them and you have to go home knowing that is just absolutely insane to me.
Can you be one of the? Can you imagine being one of the four, knowing that you're in a room with a bunch of people who hate the color of your skin, and they're like, "I'm going to put him on death row anyway," because you can't tell. You know, you say you can't really like,
Your Honor, I think they went that way because he's white. I mean,
right? Like,
you
can
can't
you
tell.
imagine being that person? I would be like, and you can't leave. Like, you can't be like, I'm gonna relieve myself because they're just gonna put somebody else in there, and it might not, and it might be worse for the
Might be
person that is
worse.
right. So yeah, no one man should have all that power.
No,
Period. The queen doesn't even have that power. The queen
God,
makes no decisions.
God bless the queen or the king, the new king.
Oh shoot, she did. She finally did. I thought she was gonna live forever.
Yeah, they actually had Charles's coronation last Saturday. Him and Camilla are the actual king and queen. Uh,
Hmm.
long live the king. Assalamu alaikum. Praise the Lord, everybody.
Wait, that was wait what? Now you know every time somebody said "Long live the Queen," they added 2 years. I think people stopped saying "Long live the Queen" because it was like she lived long enough.
It went from long live the queen to this B ain't dead yet.
Yeah,
No.
that right. I thought her and Betty White. I told you they. I told y'all they were twins. I think they're twins. Like you saw the Parent Trap.
Uh-huh.
Well, one went to America, the other
Right.
stayed in England.
Oh, that's just
Think
how
about it.
that for how is that for cinema conspiracy?
And they look alike.
I like that.
You're
I
welcome.
I I like that a lot actually.
And they didn't die too far apart from each other.
Man, that's good. That's like people said that Harlem Nights um Harlem Nights is the or Life was the sequel or the sequel to Harlem Nights with Martin Lawrence
Uh-huh. You have
and
to
Eddie
see that.
Murphy. Yeah, they said, and I heard this week they said that dang, I just had it in my head and I forgot. But they said, oh, that Mr. McDowell in Coming to America was
Yo, that
the
was
sequel to
real.
Good
Good
Time.
times.
Yeah.
No, when I was listening to man, look, we're gonna get off this political thing for a little bit. When I heard that, I was like, the daddy left Florida Evans. I'm listening to him say it right. The daddy left Florida Evans, went to had his own fame. Da, 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 da. I'm like,
Right. Right.
he did.
It's right before our eyes.
But who thinks like that? Like y'all got these are some clever people.
People with a lot of time on their hand.
I mean, right. I mean, I came up with the Queen and Betty
That's good though.
just because they look alike.
That's really really good. The Harlem Nights and the Life one is really
Right.
yeah.
Y'all just y'all you're brilliant. All y'all just and Black boy joy,
Oh
black girl magic. Be brilliant,
yeah.
y'all.
Right.
So good luck in Florida, y'all.
Right. And if you're looking to buy a home in Alabama or Georgia,
If you're looking to get away from Florida, call me.
1,000%.
'Cause
Good show tonight. I enjoyed you.
thank you. You too. You too. You too. Oh, and I'm going to be starting being single in a social media world, those lives. So that's where we're going to talk relationship, sex, the real, like the
All
the
right.
stuff after hours stuff.
I'm excited.
And that's gonna be. You can talk all about your truffle butters and all that other
Oh,
stuff. You can
I,
talk all about that there.
I want to do I want to do
But yeah, thank you, huh?
a package reveal on there.
Oh, you got some. Yeah, you purchased a few things. We're gonna make sure Leroy does not reveal some of his packages because
Right.
Lord,
Hello. Right.
you're too eager. But I appreciate you. I think this was actually this was very entertaining. This is probably more entertaining than the previous ones. Interestingly enough, for me,
Right.
maybe because
Deal.
I was all pissed off. But anywho,
Good
thank
deal.
you. I appreciate you.
Soon.
Go be run amok.
Okay. Take care.
So every Wednesday, 9 p.m., we're talking about life. Let me, I guess I can give you what our next topic is. You would think I would have this already in my brain, but I don't. So I'm like, where is it? What is, oh, y'all, shut your face. I can tell you. I just don't have it there. Our next show is going to be, I'm not going to do that one. Oh, I'm gonna. The feminist movement says no, but you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll talk about it, y'all. Until next time. Boop, boop, boop. See ya.